Okay, we're recording. So we're continuing on this, and what's due Sunday is the bash menu. And I will do a walkthrough after the lecture we'll go through this video together, and then I will show you my quickie version that I did in Kali Linux. And then we can badger Zach a bit. And I got to tell you guys, this is the area where you really want to be talking to Zach, because Zach knows this stuff. So make some time for Zach if you have questions. You guys are really underutilizing Zach. Zach is there for a reason. So make sure you ask Zach, set up times, go talk to him. He's there to help you guys. Okay. So last time, if you remember, we ended with the commenting. Right here, we had the single and multi-line comments. So today we are going to talk about arrays. So arrays in shell are variables to hold more than one value. So on this one, they're talking about numbers. So let's say you have a list of numbers 1 through 10, and you want to store them in a shell script. Without an array, you have to declare each number like this. Iteration is difficult, and if you want to do like 100 numbers, it's very difficult. So what you want to do is called an array, referring to a single variable, and then store it. So how do you do this? There are two types of arrays you can create. You can do what's called an indexed array, which is an array of elements that are stored with the index starting from 0, or an associated array, which is the array is stored with key value pairs. So, yeah, Josh, I don't blame you. I saw that you look like you've been getting seriously overworked, so I don't blame you. You definitely need arrays. Okay, so to declare an array, to create an array, we need to declare an array. So declare array, that's your index, and declare dash, you can see this one, that's your associative. Your array is declared with the keyword declare with either a short lowercase or an uppercase a. Indexed array example, in this, the array values are stored with the index 0 and up, and they are declared with that declare dash lowercase a option. This array is stored with index 0, and it's incremented by 1 as follows. You can see that right here. The associative array example, the array values are stored with keys. Excuse me. And this one's done with the declare caps a array. And this array you store, but you have, like, each one is assigned the values and stored, so you can see what they look like here. So you assign those values for key 1, 2, 3, and you see them here. And then assign the values without declaring the array. You can see array variable is declared and assigned with an array index value. Arrays are 0 indexed based on 0 to the length of an array. So like -1, index 0 returns the first element, -1 returns the last element. Arrays can contain numbers, they can contain strings like your text and whatnot, or they can do a mix. So let's see some examples. So let's look at accessing the array values. An array contains an index to get elements. And array elements can be accessed using the below syntax. We have that $, and then you can see we have a bracket, array underscore name, and then we have the square bracket index, and then the other bracket, the curly bracket. declare an array of numbers and loop through. Arrays can contain numbers. This example contains an array of numbers and for loop to print. So the numbers are 1, 3, and 12. For I in, and you see here, do echo I. And it will go through and say, okay, I'm going to go and print 1, because that's the first one, and then 3, and then 12, and then it's done. Now, if we want to do a string, we do basically the same thing, but you can see the string elements there with the quotes around them. And you can see elements 1, 2, and 3 are the output. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. State funding raises and stuff has always been an interesting, it's always been interesting to see how it goes from 1% or 3% or, yeah, it's, if you go out and look online, you can go see how funding is for the different states, and it's always very fun. Okay, so anyway, elements 1, 2, and 3, and you see that here. So access the first elements in the array. In an array element, the first element index is 0, and array 0 returns the first element. So echo number 0, echo numbers, you can see those pop out. The same thing there, element 1. To guess, oh kitty, get the last element of an array. In a bash script, you can use index -1, or sorry, index equals -1 to get the last array element. So you see that one right there, the echo $, curly bracket, square bracket, -1, square bracket, curly. With the recent bash 4.0 version, you can use the below syntax to read the last element. You can see that one down there. You can also iterate or loop your array elements. For the loop is used to iterate elements. Here's an example for the loop array. So that's again your numbers, at, do, echo, and it walks through and dumps out those as well. So this one is just another way to print them, and it says, okay, I start at 0, so the 0 spot is being held by element 1. That's why you have 0, and that's just the way that it's written. You see here how we have the in I, do, echo I1, and then you have both of those on there. Basically, it's saying, I want you to print that 0, and then I also want you to print the string that we assigned to that 0. Then there is also what's called a print all array elements. You can use an at or an asterisk. Anytime you see that asterisk, it's a lot like SQL. It means everything to print elements of an array. You can see that here. To remove an element from array, you can remove it by using unset. Excuse me. So on this one, remember it says that -1 is like the last one. So that would be the last, that element 3 that it would be removing. And I know basically we're talking about numbers and math and letters. So I don't expect you to be like, I get this on the first try. I just want you to be able to kind of walk through this with me and be aware that it's there. Okay. Yeah, I know. Arrays, honestly, they're very useful, but they can be very confusing when, right? Yeah, when you first put them out there, that letters and math thing, I understand that can be very difficult. So here's an example when you add an element starting and ending as well as in the middle. So they just had to throw all sorts of stuff in here. So this one, we echo out like we have been, number 0, element 0. So we've decided that we're going to add element 0 in there. And then we're going to throw some more stuff in there, and you can see the very first one right here, and then you can see how it adds those additional ones in there as well. So length of an array. In this, you can find the count of all elements in an array. The shell script provides the number, and you can see down here, it will return how many options are available. That's what that does. Now, I think that's also because Gwen's probably done more programming than anyone else in the class, or at least a lot more programming boot camps. So, and some people just have a brain for programming. And sometimes even people who are programming just have they latch on to certain languages faster than they do others. One of my first mentors, his name was Jay, not the instructor that's working, who's the other second year. It's a different Jay. He was a phenomenal programmer, and he could learn a new language start to finish in 4 to 5 weeks. It was a little frustrating for me with how fast he was at learning programming languages, because he was just like, oh yeah, if you want to learn this, you just go and find this tutorial. Yeah, he was literally a programming savant. He ended up working for he's worked for quite a few different places. But I think last he worked for Symantec, I believe. And he was managing some of their teams. So he was a pretty spectacular guy. So I was really grateful that I got to learn a little bit from him. And he was also the one that talked me into not going through the cabling stuff, because he said, you do realize this, you have a real knack for security, and if you're doing anything with cabling, it means you're going to be trying to wedge yourself into small spaces. And I know you don't have knees that are very good, so you're probably not going to be wanting to crawl around and pulling cables. So he was one of the ones that helped me realize cybersecurity was probably a good way to go. Okay, array cheat sheet examples. Excuse me. And remember, we have all those cheat sheets out there. You can always swipe these and make your own little just array one. So here are all the things that they talked about. And it's a nice little table for those. Okay, bash expansion. So this is how to write a bash script in shell script and execute it. The commands are input to your OS for system calls. And another way, multiple commands can be placed into your file. And this is basically, this is how to run it. You can do the bin bash echo hello world, and then this chmod plus X, and you're going to see this later when we run the tutorial. This is how you, this right here is how you execute your file, so you can see how it runs. So that's chmod plus X hello sh, that's your executable file. Conditional expressions. We're going to go down to case statements because we're going to be using case statements, and then that's where we're going to stop before we go into the rest of the stuff. So conditional expressions are evaluated at script execution time based on results. It executes specific command blocks. There are different types of conditional expressions. There's string comparison, numeric comparison, file, and logical. So file operators, bash provides logical operators on file and directories to test conditional expressions. It allows you to check different operations like the existence and permission and size of the file. It is used conditional expressions in conditional statements like if, as if, else, and case. So if, boy, you want to make sure you actually spell them correctly too. If conditional expression, then, do the thing. At least they use the same one there. Here are some options you have here. I don't know who messed this page up, but here's what it actually should say. -E returns true if given file exists. -F returns true if the file exists and a file is a file, not a directory. D returns true if the file is a directory. R returns if the file exists and has readable permission. W if it exists and has writable permission. X if the file exists and has executable permission. S if the file exists and the size is not empty. Capital G, these are case sensitive. If the file exists and is owned by a group ID that matches. Capital O, if it exists and is owned by a user ID that matches. Capital N, if it exists and was modified by last read date, and the modified by last read date, sorry. And capital L, if it exists and is a symbolic link. And then file 1, 2, and you see the other ones here, don't exist. It'll return true, and you can see these are just your other options here. Hopefully this one's a little bit less confusing, because whoever did the conditional suppression section there did not know how to write. Okay. Case statements. We're going to be going through these because they're what I suggest for a quick and easy thing to use for your assignment. So case statements are similar to switch case in other programming languages. It's used to compare the given, boy, they cannot spell, the given input with multiple patterns, and commands inside matching patterns are executed. So in this one, you'll see pattern 1, and then the commands you want to do, and that double semicolon there means that's the end of what you want it to do. And then down here, pattern, it just keeps going like this. So the expression is a variable or valid expression to evaluate. Contains patterns defined inside the case, which is evaluated with comparing expressions, matching case founds, and it executes commands inside it. Default case to execute if none of the pattern is matched. So that asterisk, remember me talking about everything else? It's like using a select all or select, it's as with SQL. Each block of the pattern ends with your double semicolon. Case is the beginning word, and then ESAC, which is case backward, is the word to terminate the entire case statement. So you see case and then ESAC. Okay. So that being said, let's look at the video that walks us through a beginning bash menu. Can you guys hear him very well? Let me turn this on.
This tutorial is in response to a question that a viewer asked. Are they going to try to say name with AHYHU? Okay, I'll try to say that.
I don't know why it's so quiet.
Okay. And he wants to know how you can make a bash script that asks a question and gives users
I just read the text and
yes or no. And I'm going to show you how to what are called case scripts. It's great for yes or no questions, or even having a full menu for an option. So let's first create a program.
I have a sneaking suspicion my speaker might be dying. Let me see if I can crank this up on my sound options. Hold on. No, it is at maximum volume. I am sorry, guys. Well, we're gonna watch this with subtitles on, and then I'm gonna walk through it.
Okay. So now I'm gonna open up my text editor and I'll call this menu dialog page. I'm gonna start off with bin bash and and I'm gonna create a variable, call it text, and I'm gonna say people to do that. And then I'm gonna make a while loop, and I'm gonna say while variable x equals 0, do this. And I've done here. Well, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear the screen off, and then I'm gonna put a like on the screen. I go, and you like when and then we're going to use the read command to set a variable called answer. So it's going to the read is going to wait for a user to type in and save that answer as a variable. Next, we're going to start our case statement. We're going to say case $ answer. So we're seeing what the variable answer is. Let's say in. Now we're going to say y parentheses, and what that's saying is if the user types yes, do the following command. And I'm going to say echo you said yes. And then I'm going to hit set the variable x equals to 1. This is how I'm choosing exit out of while. And then we're going to do colon or semicolon, semicolon. One that's saying that that's the end of the command for the y option. Next, another option they have is saying no. So if they type n, we're going to say echo you said no. And once again, I'm going to set x equal to 1. Once again, that to get us out of this while. And you'll see why the while is remote. Semicolon, saying that we're done with the end option. And then we're going to put an asterisk parentheses, and that's saying anything else. If they put anything other than y or n, it's going to be following. And what I'm going to have to do is have to clear the screen, echo, let's say that is not an option. Then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have it sleep. So I'll say 3 seconds. Semicolon, so that we're done with commands for anything other than y. And then I'm going to take case backwards, which is CFAC, saying we're done with the case. And so let's look at our entire thing. Saying that this is a bash. So then we're going to say x equals 0. We're saying right now, saying file, so as long as x equals 0, do everything inside this. So first thing I'm going to do is clear the screen, then display message on the screen, and then wait for it to set their answer to respond to the variable answer, and then we're going to start our if statement for anything, for whatever answer. So case answer in, if they say y, we be set it no. If they say n, we be set it no. And if they do n after, and both y and n set x equals 1, so we jump us out of it, so we can basically end the program. If they answered invalid, that is not an option, it will tell them it's not an option, wait 2 seconds, and start to move forward. Let's save that. To make it executable, we change mod plus x, and name of script, and dot slash. So we clear the screen, so we're inside our while loop and say, do you like answer y or x? If I say y, the answer it says, you said yes, and then it exits out. If I run the script again, and I hit end, it says, you said no, and exit out. I run the script again, and I put H, which is not an option, it will say, that is not an option, and that's clear the screen, to display the question. And if it do it again, you know, putting together the wire and keep on looping. You need to put in if you like. So we'll loop until they hit yes or no. So I reply yes. Let's go back to our script here. And actually, let's add another option. So we'll add an option here. And we'll set this option equal to here. And we'll say x equals 1. And then I'll say echo. And I would have a sleep mode. And what we'll do here, up here where it says, like, change the 4 down here, we say, right. Save that, run our code again, and we'll need to make it executable again. So let's do that. Oh, we let it know that we're done with the two commands here by going semicolon, semicolon. At the end of the section. Save it all, again. Now it says, do you like candy? Yes or no? Press 2 to exit. I can say D, and click the front option to back to the question. I can hit K, background option. Or I can hit Y and or Q, and hit Q, it says exit it, and exit that. So that is how you take statements and.
Okay. So sorry about why that is super, super soft playing out of my speakers. Hopefully you guys got the gist of that. You can always watch that again. And let me stop share. Oh, pardon me. And I will share with you. Nope. Let me re-enter my password so I can get in my tally box. So I am using Kali Linux. Okay. It's kind of hard to see. Zach, do you know how to blow that up so it's easier to see?
Yeah, I think if you press Control Plus,
No,
it should be able to zoom in.
Nope. It does.
Oh, click on View. Maybe it's under View, under the terminal. Oh, do you mean on the VM or on the terminal?
No, on the VM.
I'm not sure. Using
yeah, I just wanted the text to be a little bit larger for them to see, but can you guys
try control scrolling on the terminal? No.
No, does not like. It's okay. Can you guys see that okay? Okay. All right, so this is the one that I came up with. And if you look at your assignment, it requires 6 options. So an example would be, what is your favorite color? And you can say, press R for red, G for green, you know, something like that. Just something that has 6 options. Steve, unfortunately, is not feeling well, so he's not with us tonight, but he had one that actually had nested loop. So that one of the questions you hit and it had more questions within it, which is a little more difficult. So is that why it's so quiet, Steve? When you hear this, you'll have to go yell at Mike Schaefer for that one. But yeah, so this is just super simple. So let me exit out of here. Make sure I'm clicked on the right one.
Oh, if you do plus for zooming in, I think try Control Shift plus, like the equal sign. Control Shift and then equals.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Guys, see that better? No. So this is mine. Let me. I have to make sure I'm the right one. Okay, so in order to save, hit escape, colon, W, Q. Okay, now I've done something weird with it. Should not be read only. Of course, I went to sleep and changed things. I did. And this is why I also have Zach on here, because that way Zach could see. And I can go, I broke it. But I'm using Vim is what this is. And now it's completely stuck. Is it actually going to let me move now? No. Try that again. Okay. Yeah, I had it chmod as executable. One thing is make sure that you are in the directory area. Sorry, every time I switch back to top 20, you guys, I forget I have to switch back to this. Make sure you're in the directory that you're supposed to be in. Okay. And then once you're in that directory, you can run. Yeah, that's Vim is just what they happen to use in the
Are you
example.
trying to quit out of Vim?
I did, and it gave me the finger, so I'm just going back to what I was.
It wouldn't let you use the
because,
the escape key or anything.
Yeah, I did use the escape key, and it just
Kind of like froze up.
Yeah. I think menu is the one that. Yeah, it's menu. Okay. Okay. So in order to do that, use the VI or VIM space, then your file here. Did you guys see how to create one of these files? You saw that in the stop in the video. Sorry, I have a cat that keeps coming up and rubbing on the edge of my laptop and showing his teeth like, I'm a bite this. So remember, you need to start with that hash exclamation / bin bash thing right there. And then you have your x equals 0, and then you start in with your while loop. So with mine, I did while x equals 0 do, and the clear is just to wipe everything off the screen and give you a nice clear screen before it starts messing with everything. So that's why he suggested doing the clear. So I thought that was a pretty decent thing that was a good practice for us to keep doing. And of course I had to go with sarcastic Yoda and Star Wars stuff for mine, because you know me. So mine is Echo, is Yoda the best master? Yes or no? Read answer, and then I set my cases. I only have 3, but remember you need 6. So if you're going to do a yes or no, you need to come up with some either a nested loop where you can do a yes or no and then give some other options for them, or you need to give 6 options to answer your question. Okay. And that's just because I want you guys to have a decent understanding of how to run this. And what I want from you, what I want you guys to turn in is this text, just the text, just copy the text. And Nick pointed out a really good, easy way to do this, because I forget that you can do this, because sometimes I segment Linux and Windows stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is possible. You can open up your browser and go to Google, open your drive and dump your text into a Google Doc. And then you can just open up on Blackboard and dump your text in, and there you go. So for mine, I did the answer, yes, right you are, no, Sith you are. And so I did the everything is an error. I had clear, not a choice is this, and the sleep. And then we did ESAC, which is your end of your case statement, and then done. Okay. So that's how. Yeah, you can do Monty Python. You can do whatever you want. You know, you do not copy mine. You copy mine and you will get a 0. You need to make your own. You can use the same format, but yours has to be has to have 6 options. So you'd need like 6 different, with your question, 6 different things, but you can use the same kind of format for it. The reason I just brought this up here is because I figured that way if you guys had questions, or if you decided you wanted to work through some of this extra stuff with me after I stop the lecture, we can work through it together. But this is your basic here. So let me, sorry, I gotta switch back here. WQ. I don't know why I can never remember WQ. Okay, Zach, do you know what I did wrong? Why it's always telling me the read-only option is set? Or do I need
Is the file itself read only?
it should be.
You could try opening another tab in your terminal and making sure the files, do an ls-l on the directory it's in.
Okay, hold on. It's backwards.
Do an ls-l
Is it space dash? Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it space dash? So here you go. You guys get some troubleshooting on here too.
Yeah, it's set to read. It looks like it's set to read write for your user, and you're just running it as the user, right? What is the error saying on Vim? Let me search it up real quick.
It is saying, oh, hold on.
So when you try to do :W, it says something about read only.
Read only option is set, add exclamation point to override. Because yeah, it did not do this to me when I was doing it earlier.
Yeah, that's weird. Try this. Try doing :set
On here or
on Vim.
Within on this.
So set, yeah, type set and then space no RO, so NORO, and then hit enter.
is it supposed to?
And then try doing it, and then try writing it. What? E505. Vim E5.
Well, at least it gave us an actual error message this time. It's weird though.
That's strange. Because the file is the file owned by you? Does it say? Oh, it's owned by root. That's why.
Oh yeah, because I had
So
it.
try doing a chown ch own Anna colon Anna on the file on the other tab on your other window. And you have to run that as sudo since it's root, since it's owned by root. Ch own.
I'm sorry, it's just cho sudo
OWN. Yeah, CHOWN. So ch own.
like that.
And N.
And okay.
And then Anna colon Anna.
And then the
Anna colon Anna.
So Anna colon Anna, like
Yeah. So that would be your user in your group.
And then the file name.
And then the file name.
Okay.
And then enter your password.
This is what happens when you don't use your skills for a while. Oops, that's my. Also, what happens when you type it wrong. Oh shit, I think I typed it wrong again. When you try to get cute with your password and you do it wrong. Oh, dang it. That's okay, I can redo it. I just need to go look up my what I said it as. Yeah. I tried to add too much to that. Okay, so sudo. Okay. There we go.
There you go. So now you should be able to write it.
Now let's try this. All right, so
There you go.
you shouldn't have the issues that I did because I was doing some other work previously. And then after you save it, you have to do that. I already have execute, but you should do. Oh, there we go.
And you don't have to run it as sudo. You can just do.
It's just the last one I had it on.
Oh.
Okay, and then you get your yes, no. There's my wrong choice answer. And there's the other one. So there you go. There's an example on what that is. So that is your quick example on that. And I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here so we can, yeah, you got some good examples of why I like having Zach in here on Linux stuff, because when you use Linux as your main, you get to use that all the time. So thank you, Zach. And I'm going to stop here for the recording. Then we're going to talk about homework. Okay.